Hello and welcome to the Trans Agenda, a podcast by Trans Clinique. I'm your host, Nico, and I'm a trans man and my pronouns are he and they. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be right here talking about the Trans Agenda. In this podcast, we'll delve into the unique challenges and experiences of trans folks, highlighting the voices of those who have lived it themselves. We'll explore issues such as navigating medical and legal systems, finding acceptance within family and community, and combating discrimination and violence. Our guests will share their personal stories and expertise, providing valuable insights and perspectives on this often misunderstood aspect of the human experience. Join us as we strive to educate, inform, and advocate for trans rights and visibility. Hello, my name is Nico, and this is the Trans Agenda podcast by Trans Clinique, and we will be interviewing Kane C. Andrade about his business, his life, and gossip. So, Kane, tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Kane. I am a commercial travel photographer, and I've been doing photography for about 8 years. I've been doing freelance for about 3, and I've been having fun ever since.
I love it. So if you want to tell us a little bit about your story coming out as trans, how did that happen for you?
I feel like it happened kind of, it didn't happen just like one day. It was like very gradual. I feel like it happened in a span of like 10 years where I was just admitting to myself that I think this is what's happening. I think I'm trans. But there was a lot of resistance because I come from a very religious family, and they weren't really on board with me being a lesbian, so I didn't want to come out twice again, because I knew that it was going to be bad for them. So I came out to my ex-wife, and then nobody else, and then eventually when I was gonna start tea, I came out to everyone. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been an artist your whole life.
Yes.
But how do you think that interacted with your transition?
So I originally was a landscape photographer, and the outside, the mountains, the trails, they're not queer, and I found myself to be very lonely, and eventually, I think really it was like when I met you, like I started realizing that I wanted to do things that were more queer related, because I met a lot of cis white men in the mountains, and like that world was very heteronormative, and it just wasn't relatable, and it wasn't fun for me at some point. So I started doing things within the community and taking portraits of the drag world, and I feel like I enjoy photography a lot more now. So
yeah, you can connect it with your identity.
Yeah.
I know that, we're business partners, so I know a little bit more about you than maybe the listeners do, but I think it's sometimes hard as a trans person to make money, especially if you do want to work within community. So I think, you've been a pretty successful person at balancing that commercial aspect with the authenticity of who you are as well. If you could talk a little bit about that balance.
Yeah, so honestly, like, mentioning that I was a landscape photographer, and it's very like straight. I didn't really come out to anyone, so I didn't tell them who I was or that I was queer. It was something that I just kept within myself, and they just assumed that I was either they would assume that I was a lesbian, or they would just assume that I was like a guy, just not even queer at all, because I just didn't come out. I didn't say anything. It wasn't like plastered on my website. It wasn't on my bio. It just was hidden. So I think that kind of set the tone of like me being able to come out in this safe space, because I was able to build my portfolio.
Right.
So without, I think it's hard to say like how you should do it, and I unintentionally did it because I was scared to come out. I wasn't thinking like, oh, if I don't come out, I'll become successful. I just everything happened kind of because I was scared to do it.
Right.
And I feel like at the time it was not really, it's just not. And I mean, the outside, the like, the landscape world, it doesn't really feel like a safe space still. So um yeah, I was able to build my portfolio, and then now safely I'm able to, with it being like a strong, um
Foundation.
exactly, yeah. And I feel very confident in my work now. I feel like I'm safely able to say, hey, I'm a trans photographer, this is what I could do for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself going with your career?
I want to eventually be able to have, like a team, like what we have, something a little bit bigger where it's all trans creators, and have us just travel the world and create content for huge companies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think are some of the safety issues that trans people might encounter as you're going down that path,
Well, I've encountered it like recently. Well, I guess within the year that I've been out, I haven't been able to like go to specific places because it's not safe to go. I don't want to like make it controversial, but yeah, there's like some places that we just can't go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name the states or countries. But it's just not safe. And I have run into that a lot where I have to just tell them that I can't do it, or sometimes they wouldn't even know. They're like, oh, I had no idea that, you can't be trans in Dubai or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so I do have to reject some work, and it's kind of sad because, I love doing this, and yeah, I hate saying no to things. So it's missed opportunities, but I hope that with that comes newer ones and safer ones.
Do you see like a path forward to where that could become safer, or do you feel like it's gonna be a long?
I feel like, yeah, it's weird because it's not like it was safe in the past, like before. It's like, and it's still with all these bills that are coming out. It's not safe, to go to certain states now. So I don't know. It's kind of it's like bad then good, then bad then good. It's just kind of like up and down. So honestly, it's hard to say. It's kind of wild out there. So yeah.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit more about like when you met me and your life just got better, and and connecting with community in your work, and kind of like how that affected your art and who you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like doing the photography that I do, it will now, like with the community and connecting in that way and meeting new people, and because you're the first trans person I met, trans man, like I guess
shit.
just trans no, just trans person I think in general.
That's
and that
crazy.
was like just this last year. So
crazy.
it is wild. And then you knew like hundreds of people, I feel like, before me.
I only hang out with trans people and Sam. Yeah.
So I feel like it just brings like a whole new meaning to why I do everything. I was losing it, like I feel like I was losing my mind because I really didn't want to do landscape photography anymore. And with these new connections, it's really nice because you're able to first off meet the community, and then meet your, like, I feel like I just have like a whole new group of friends, and then being friends with people who have kind of like the same journey, or kind of you can relate to them, and it's nice. Like it's kind of sucky when you have friends who just like you can't really talk about anything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was going through before. So
and it seems also like you have kind of a unique experience as a trans person because you come from this commercial world, right? And I know that you've talked about how important being around nature has been for you. Like, how do those pieces fit together for you? Like the trans and the nature, do you see that coming together?
I feel like I do eventually. It'd be nice to get to a point where I could mix, like it'd be great to like work for REI or something and have it also be like queer but all year round, and we're doing like queer things. But
Let's do
that'd be great. It's kind of, I think it'll happen eventually. But you know, being out in nature and kind of stepping away from all of this stuff, it really cleanses my soul. I feel like it sounds silly, but once you're out there and you have like your group, and then you have like a little fire and your tent, and like you go out on the trails, it really, like, I don't know, it brings me at peace. And I think it might have a lot to do with my military background. So you know, I was doing that for 5 years, so I have this like sense of like safeness out there. So
yeah, the military is like a whole other other thing. So you came out when you were in the military. How was that?
I was not able to come out. I was in during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So that was a time where if you came out, or if they found out that you were queer, you would probably get kicked out or go to jail. So I had to hide who I was, and then eventually 3 years into being in the military, that ban got uplifted, and I came out and I got married, and but even then it still wasn't safe. So it was definitely hard to, for one, be in the military and then be queer in the military. So, and then I definitely knew that I couldn't come out as trans at that point, like, because being a lesbian was like the end of the world for my entire battalion. So yeah. And you were in the, what was your decision to go into the military? Yeah, so my dad, my dad doesn't speak English very well, and like we didn't come from a family that, you know, he's from Venezuela, so he doesn't really know like how to get into college. He doesn't know that you have to do certain things like paperwork or talk to someone or an advisor. So I definitely didn't know, because there wasn't anyone to guide me through that process. So I felt like if I joined the military, then I could go to college and, you know, have that figured out. And then so I joined the military. That's easier than joining college. So yeah, I did that, and then I went to college. So, I mean, you know, I feel like you have just been really trying to find your place in the world this whole time. It's like not only as just like a human existing in capitalism, but also as like a person who, you know, is trans and is queer, and, you know, figuring out how to kind of exist even though we live under this oppressive system that honestly doesn't want you to be who you are. So it's been a journey for sure. So I feel like whenever things happen in life, just because I've like been able to go through Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and like the military itself is hard. Then going through Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and like doing all of that, it just kind of like being out here, I feel okay, because, you know, I don't know, I've already went through this hard stuff. So like giving it full, you know, going like just 110% with my photography, I feel like all of this kind of happened because I was able to go through what I went through. You know? So I mean, I don't really have much to lose, you know, like at this point. So I go full force with my photography, and it's working out. What would you know, I think a lot of people right now are in the process of learning who they are and coming out. What advice would you give to somebody or to your younger self? I would probably, it's really nice to follow people on social media who are also trans or queer or however you identify as. Like if you don't have, well, I mean, that's kind of what I had social media, because I just met you like last year, so that's crazy. I'm still like, I had no idea I was the first trans person that you knew. So like, you know, follow people who you relate to on social media, and like, you know, I mean, you could like talk to them. You know, and like I feel people on social media talk to me and ask questions, and you know, it's nice, you know. So I would definitely not come out when you're not ready to come out. And for me, it was like such a huge, long process. And I came out when I was 30, you know, so it's, I mean, I'm not old, but, you know, it is, I feel like it's late in the ball game. Like, kind of, I wish I would have come out when I was younger, but at the same time, I'm really proud that I came out at the age that I came out, because that's when I was ready. You know, I feel like if you're not ready, then tea might, you know, taking tea might kind of add to all that stress, and, you know, you might feel kind of overwhelmed. But definitely come out when you feel like you're ready, and meet like-minded people on social media.
Yeah. What is your trans agenda?
To, like, instantly the thing that like popped into my brain was just like get more creators that are trans into doing more of like the commercial work, like getting like the money that they deserve, and like, you know, just doing quality work, and yeah, getting out there and working with the big brands.
Hey, get that money.
Hell yeah, we deserve it. We deserve to take up space.
Absolutely.
So take all the space.
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, well, thanks, Kane.
You're welcome.
Trans individuals face unique challenges every day, from accessing healthcare to navigating legal systems. It is crucial that we work towards creating a society that is inclusive and supportive of people of all gender identities. This means advocating for policies and practices that prioritize the health and well-being of trans individuals, as well as challenging discriminatory attitudes and behaviors where they exist. By coming together to support and uplift trans voices, we can create a brighter and more equitable future for everyone. Thank you for listening, and let us continue to work towards a world where trans individuals can thrive. Follow us on all social media platforms at transclinique, and don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button.